What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're going to be doing our first interview of the year with Within the Midst, great local band, cool dudes. I've moshed with at least two of them, so that's a thing that has happened.
Yeah.
It's like a few of the guys are starting to creep in here. Just go ahead and ask to join, and we'll get you guys started in on this talk. For everybody who's watching or watching this afterwards, thank you guys for tuning in and checking it out. And hope everybody's safe and free of all the stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some people in here. Discussion with Within the Midst about stuff. Probably. Who knows?
There's no anger.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing? How's your new year treating you?
Pretty good so far. Pretty good. I mean, this is a good start to it for us.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's healthy and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah. We're trying to get the new year started off right. A lot better than last year, I hope.
For sure.
Absolutely. I see Within the Midst, the band page is in here. If you guys go ahead and request to join, we'll get you guys in here as well.
We can add as many motherfuckers as we can.
I hope so.
It'll be just like the beginning of the Brady Bunch, where there's a ton of people. But I do want to kind of start off a little bit. You guys have been playing a lot of local shows and stuff. You guys have any? I'm sure you do, but what can you divulge as far as getting out of the Johnson City area? You know, any out of state plans, even on the other side of the state, anything like that?
Yeah, as of right now, we're actually about to release a video, hopefully within the next week or so. Hey, Charles is in here.
What's up?
How's
it going?
What we're looking at doing is, like I said, we just finished the video shoot last Sunday, and we're waiting. It's going through its editing process right now, so we'll be releasing that soon on all platforms. That's the first thing we will have out there. So that's kind of where we're focused at right now. We just come from Myrtle Beach, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, doing a show. And then we decided to kind of focus on getting our, all of our platforms out there and built so people have something to listen to. We do have a show booked, which we're not started to promote it yet, but in February in Tazewell, Tennessee, at the Halo Bar and Grill. So, but as of right now, we're just kind of focused on getting our social media platforms built and kind of out there and going.
Who all's playing that show in Tazewell?
I'm not real for sure. I talked to the promoter, and he said he's not completely building the lineup yet or completed with it. So I don't know. I have no idea. I just messaged the guy, and he got back with me. He was like, "Yeah, be ready for this date." And so I'll message him, and if I can get you guys on with us, that'd be cool.
Yeah, man. We're trying to build 22 to hopefully be a nice year, but as of right now, we just don't have anything really lined up. So we're kind of still just figuring out what we're gonna do. But I enjoy playing with you guys. It's always a good time.
Yeah,
so
same.
We could get.
Hold on a second. My dog acts like she's dying every 5 minutes.
I hear that.
We could get a show with you guys out in anywhere. I don't care. I enjoy playing with you guys. It's a fun time.
Oh yeah. It's a blast. We enjoy watching you guys. A lot of good energy.
Yeah, I've seen you guys with Dilation twice, I believe. Once at Capone's and once at the Hideaway. What's up? I'm getting more people in. How's it going?
Looking pretty there, Mason.
Hey, thank you. I had to wear my festive shirt today.
All right.
Yeah. But no, you guys always bring a good energy and a good live performance as well. You guys are cool guys. I see you guys in, if not hanging out with the rest of the crowd in the pit sometimes, a few of you guys. So that's definitely a cool thing to experience. And I do want to ask. I commented. The Metal Everything page commented. I'm breaking the fourth wall on who is doing what. I commented on one of your posts about some potential new stuff. What can you? I know we're like 2 days deep into the new year. You may not want to give us the exact ins and outs, but what, as far as the tease is concerned, can you guys give us for some new music, or is that for the video, or what was that tease for?
The teaser is for the video that's coming up because that will be our first official release under Within the Midst. I don't know how long you guys have followed us, but I think it was last year at some point we kind of went through a name change. We was under Ascension's Fade, and we released a lyric video. We decided to go a whole different route and change the name and everything. So we kind of took all of our media platforms down, and we're kind of starting off fresh. So this video will be the first release under Within the Midst, and that's what that teaser was about.
For sure. And if you guys can get into it, I don't know what the backstory is there. What was the antithesis behind the name change? What was the decision there to change that? Was it maybe restart or?
Well, to be honest, the funny thing about that is the Ascension's Fade name, we all wasn't really keen on. How that come about was we all couldn't come together and decide collectively on a name. So we literally drew names out of a hat. And when that one won, we was all just like, okay. And then after, I think we went with it 8 or 9 months or so, and then we were just like, yeah, something's got to give. So we kind of threw some names out, and everybody liked that one. So that's what we went with.
What were some other names you guys had?
Man, shoot, there were so
We
many.
had Swarm the Crown.
One of the Crown was
That was one.
And that was a favorite, but why we didn't want to go that route is, there's a lot of bands, that use the word crown, and we didn't want to kind of divulge into that. And the biggest one, the local, was, Bound by the Crown, so we didn't want to try to be too similar or whatever. So that was a really good name that we all liked, but we didn't want to go that route for that reason. Another one was shoot, I really don't remember. There was so many throughout
Mason,
there.
do you remember any of them?
Swarm the Crown was like the only one I ever remember.
Yeah, that was one of our favorites, and we really contemplated on going with that one, but like I said, the only reason we didn't was, like I said, for just the band. There was quite a few bands that have the word crown in it, so we didn't go that route.
Understandably so. Well, I have had the privilege of playing with you guys twice, and you guys bring, for a band that's just kind of getting going, you guys bring a fucking crowd, man. You guys are doing a video. You guys are releasing new material. Are you like, I don't know, I guess, do y'all have like stuff from previous shit? Because I mean, for you guys just starting out, man, you're doing a lot of big stuff for a band just getting their feet on the ground.
Well, we don't. Me, kind of to answer that, I have to step back and kind of tell a little backstory. What happened is me and Charles was in a previous band, Tyrant's End, and that band kind of fell apart, so to speak. And this one just kind of come from that, sort of. But no, as far as material, no, everything is fresh. Everything is, there's nothing coming from previous bands. Or when Mason joined with us, we just kind of started building it, and we all come from kind of different backgrounds, musically, but everything kind of fell together pretty smoothly as far as our direction route that we wanted to go. And we have some very intricate stuff, and which turned a lot of people away when we were trying out drummers, vocalists, stuff like that. So, but the lineup we have, it just kind of started working, man, and it's blowing up pretty quick. I mean, quicker than what we anticipated.
And I do want to ask, you touched on it a little bit. You all have different backgrounds musically. Going around here, what are your musical backgrounds? Is it all metal? Did you guys get started in something else? What got you guys started?
I was late to the metal game, and I'll be honest with you. Ironically, I used to hate metal. For the same reason that I hear it all the time. You can't understand the vocals. I come from a Southern rock background. I was really never introduced to metal. And Lamb of God was my first metal band that I latched onto. And then it just kind of started building from there. And so I got to noticing, I was playing stuff that I grew up on, and I was kind of getting bored with it. So I was looking for something different. And now, man, it just took off. And now, ironically, I'm kind of the metal guy in my little area here. But yeah, that's how I fell into it.
For me, it was, I've always been into literally everything rock and metal. And surprisingly, and y'all would have never guessed, but I used to be big into rap back when I was younger. But I kind of grew into rock and metal, like solely. And when I started playing guitar. And my biggest influences was like Slipknot and Metallica. And I started off playing like cover songs like 3 Days Grace and Godsmack and all that good stuff. And where my musical roots come from, I was always big into like the nu metal genre. But everything kind of evolved after a few years of playing guitar. I started playing bass, and then as of the past like few years, I got introduced to metalcore, the kind of music that we're playing now, and it's challenged me a lot as a musician and a bass player, and I couldn't have asked for anything better.
For sure.
Well, mine is probably the furthest away from what we're playing. I started
Hang
out
on just 1 second, Mason. I'm not trying to be rude. Is Jay Stone, is he part of the group?
Yes.
What's his name again? Is it James? James, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, James, request to join, brother. Let's see if we can get you in here. I appreciate you liking the dilation stuff a lot, brother. I appreciate that a bunch.
While you guys are answering the questions, we're having questions being answered also in the chat.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get everybody, all the pieces aligned. All right, man, go ahead and finish.
But mine is probably the furthest away from what we play. I started out with country.
Fuck me.
I started out playing drums when I was like 6, and my whole family plays country, and it was like, hey Mason, come play drums with me down here at the community center down here, And I was like, okay, started out playing my basic 4/4 beat. That was about the extent of my knowledge till about middle school, and then I heard a drum solo by Eric and Proda on YouTube one time, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what is this? This dude was absolutely going crazy on the drums. I started listening to a lot more. Avenged Sevenfold really kind of got me going on, and it's kind of a downhill spiral there in the metal world.
Absolutely, man. James
sure.
said, I'm sitting at the laundromat, or I would. What is the dilation influence?
No, dude, no. I don't care if you're at the laundromat. Something in our set just fell, so there's noise in the background all the time. Feel free to join from the laundromat. I just want to hear ka-doo, 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 ka-doo in the background. Ask you like a direct question and be like, and all you hear is fucking your, towels or whatever. No, but since we'll look in the chat a little bit since he's in here.
What is the dilation influences? I get a lot of suffocation vibes from you. Oh yeah,
that's with the dilation. Yeah,
that is a big influence, particularly between me and Jay. Which my main influences was Chris Adler. That's what got me playing. But Eric Marotti, man, he's a genius. Bryce Butler. Eugene from Flesh God Apocalypse, which
This is our first interview.
Yes.
Feel free to check it out on the page. Selfless
yes,
plug there. Go
but
ahead.
Eric, fuck me. I've had a conversation with Eric. He kind of helped me along with double strokes, but Eugene from Flesh God Apocalypse, that guy, I consider him my mentor. That guy helped me out a bunch. He's one of my biggest influences when it comes to drumming. If you ever get the time or check him out, he's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, Jay, he loves fuck me, his name is leaving me.
Oh, that's a
Anyway,
good.
the guitarist for Suffocation, I cannot think of his name at the moment.
And Shane is a big Backstreet Boys fan.
Yes, he is. Big Backstreet Boys.
Yeah,
he
that's-
loves NSYNC, and yeah, he's a good guy.
So when you guys come out to see Within the Midst and Dilation is there,
Yeah.
you will get with Dilation a very metal-oriented group, but with boy band lyrics.
Yeah.
I do want to ask. Everybody has, and especially with you, Mason, because your answer was so diverse. Everybody has the first drummer, regardless of genre. And you had touched on yours a little bit, Mason. But originally, who was the musician that you guys looked at and thought, maybe I do want to do this. I do want to.
Terrence Hobbs. Suffocation's. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
There you go. I was gonna kill him the whole time if you didn't remember. But who was maybe a musician and artist that you guys looked at very early on? If you could dwindle it down to one, I got a few answers here, but who would be the main influence for all of you guys going around?
For me, back when I was very slowly, I was getting more out of the Southern rock into the harder rock per se. I latched on to Black Label Society for a little while. And,
Zakk Wylde?
I started
Zakk-
watching. Do what?
Zakk Wylde's a G.
Yeah, I started watching Zach, and I got it. Like he was funny to watch, really. I mean, because the dude don't care what he says, where he's at on stage. He just don't care. And so I latched on him and started watching, him, and then it led me into the, other more diverse guitar players. And another one that I really, really liked, which I saw him play together, was Joe Bonamassa, which is, Blues King. But I saw him and Zach play together, and that was that was amazing. So, but from early on, that was what really started projecting me into the wanting to, get out of the 4-chord pattern and start learning actually how to play.
You just hurt my feelings because a lot of Dilation's music is in 4/4 timing.
I didn't mean that with but yeah, dude, your guitar player makes me sick every time I watch him play, dude. I'm just like, that dude's insane. And you as a drummer are also, but me being a guitar player, watching him, me and James are just sitting there shaking our heads like, it's crazy. I don't get it.
Dilation is usually a regular top. Like, dang, those guys are great.
To be honest with you, and I'm not just saying this because we regularly talk about you guys. Like, we reference you guys a lot.
I appreciate it, man. We appreciate it a bunch. I mean, we suck, but we appreciate it, man. I love how Mason's genuinely eating your cookies.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I've got like a whole Subway tray of these.
You're a bass nerd, James. That's nothing wrong with that, man. Dilation is actually in the works of having a bass player, so I am super, super, super excited to have
Awesome.
the meat and potatoes with that comes along with that. That's going to be really great. I feel like that'll help us out a bunch.
And I'll be having meat and potatoes. But moving forward with the influences, who influenced you two gentlemen?
For me, it'd have to be Slipknot. Yeah, I'd always said that Mick Thompson was a big influence. Even to go as far as like, I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but I went and got his tattoo on my
Hey,
arm.
that's back.
I was like, hey, if I'm gonna flaunt an influence, what's the best way to do it than a tattoo? And then I got to thinking, like, if I get out there into the scene and one day somebody's like, hey, dude's got a Mick Thompson tattoo, like, what? but I mean, I don't regret it. But yeah, he would definitely be an influence. Like I remember back in the day, I would try to like learn every Slipknot song I could, and I did learn several of them. Um, I couldn't play them today because that was like a decade ago. Uh, but yeah, that's where my influence would be. It would be with the guitarist of Slipknot. That's what I based my guitar learning around.
Absolutely.
So you would say you're, I mean, obviously because you have the tattoo, but Mick over James.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a big
Because I know how he played was more raw metal, and James, his influences were more like blues. Um, so and he was always the big solo guy. So uh, I wasn't a big solo guy. I was more of the rhythm.
Yeah, let's just say it openly. Aside from Joey's thorn mask, Nick does have the best mask.
He has the best mask, I think. Sid has always had like the most diverse masks, I think, because he, like from the beginning it was like the gas mask, and then it went from that to like the skull to the All Hope Is Gone one is fucking sick.
Yeah, but if you run into if you run into that big fucker in an alley with that mask on,
Oh, I wouldn't fuck with him.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Mick's definitely. I mean, Joey, the best mask that's ever stepped into Slipknot was Joey's thorn mask that had the thorns across the top.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that was the best one. But like when it came to like walking down the street,
Yeah.
you see a motherfucker like in the bushes.
In the bushes. You just walk down the street and Mick Thompson's just in the bushes.
I wouldn't fuck. I wouldn't walk past the bush. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, fuck that. Mason, who's yours?
Well, as I said, coming out of country, I really never had any country influence because I was too little to really have an influence. It was more or less like, ooh, drums, I'm going to. But as I got older and got in, and discovered Vince Stapleton, I guess the reggae. Because
Yep. Me and you are friends now.
Fair enough.
even today, I reference the Rev a lot in a lot of my playing because that man, he wasn't so much of a metal drummer. He came more from a funk background, and it's a weird, I don't know how to explain it. It's an odd way he puts things together, and it always, not to put things in an easy to digest perspective, but in a wow, you wouldn't expect that beat to be in a metal song, but there it is. It's he's drove me to be unpredictable in my writing, and that's what I like to hear. And sure enough, the drummer does a drum fill right there. I don't like to look at the song and know exactly what happened. I like to be surprised, and he has a lot of elements like that, and I've took a lot of notes.
Which I want to step in right now and say that's why I work. That's why we work so well, because that's one thing that we all agreed upon. We didn't want that aspect of what's coming next. That's kind of how we try to write our music. Which it's we understand. Not ever hearing a song, it can kind of get lost in it, but it's one of those. The more you listen to it, you notice something different every time. And that's kind of how we try to base our writing on.
So what is the process for you guys like?
What was that? You kind of cut out on me.
Sorry. How does the writing process for you guys go? Is it just different people bring different things to the table, get in a room?
Mainly, it started out with, me and Mason, because for the first, I think 3 songs that we had, it was just me, Mason, and Charles. We didn't actually have the full band yet. We decided to kind of cease writing till we had a full group. But here to lately, it's been, me and James do, as far as the riffs, have a lot of writing, and, we'll start something, and then we like to, pretty much collaborate with the entire band, get ideas as far as direction, so we'll just kind of all sit down and kind of hash it out, and it generally changes 2 or 3 times before the final outcome, if not more. But it usually starts with I'll bring a riff in or James will bring a riff in, and then we just sort of bounce backwards and forwards. And, we worked really well doing that. That was one thing when we were looking for a guitar player, we had to have. I wanted somebody that, wouldn't just go off of, yeah, that's cool, and learn it. I wanted somebody to challenge it. If I wrote a riff and he didn't like it, they're like, what? I don't like that. Try this, and we worked really well in that aspect together. And then, Mason, he's not just a drummer, man. He riffs on drums. I mean, if you took the guitars away in any of our songs, if you knew the songs, you could tell where he was at, because he's not just and that's why, and really enjoy playing with him. That's why he works so well with the way me and James write together.
Fair enough, man. I mean, it's
Uh,
kind of like. Go ahead.
As far as bass goes, I kind of just where the riffs are guitar drum oriented mainly. I just come in and piece the guitars to the drums. Kind of do my own thing here and there. But that's basically I come in last on everything before vocals.
I have to say, I want to jump in there real quick, Charles. Charles has a really hard job because he's got these intricate riffs that he has to learn on a freaking tree trunk, pretty much. But he does very well with that. I mean, it's jumping backwards and forward between the guitars and the drums and filling the whole sense. So, I didn't mean to cut you off, Charles. It's just when you said that
Well, I agree with. I mean, because like, and I hate to bring up Dilation and everything, but that's kind of how we work in a sense. But at the same time, Jay is kind of like. I have never played with somebody fucking that just brings so much riff to the table. Like the last 2 songs that we wrote, me and Jay have wrote them in a day. Like the I'm trying to think if I'm pretty sure we played them the last time we played with you guys, but the ones that are like right off the rip, super fast, through and through all the way to the end. Me and Jay wrote that song in a day. And it's I've never had the opportunity to work with somebody that can bring so much riff to the table at one time. So that's kind of
when you find your bandmates, it kind of all fits together. And we have a question here in the chat. We'll go around asking, starting with you. We'll go around and then finish with us here because it's a tremendous question. What are all of our thoughts on the metal scene? Do we think metal is coming back? And what styles do you think will be popular or unpopular moving forward?
And for the people watching, we live in East Tennessee. We're talking to a local band that lives kind of in the same area, but they're kind of separated out a bit. So when people ask these questions, it's kind of remote to just our area.
It's very hard to find more than a handful of really determined badass bands like Dilation, like within the midst. So that's where these questions come from. But we'll go ahead and start off here. Is the metal scene coming back? Because, COVID shut a lot of shit down, kind of made it a little hard for everybody to go play. Is the metal scene coming back? And then, what styles do you think will be popular or unpopular as far as bookings are concerned moving forward?
I think from what I'm seeing, it's trying really hard to break through this COVID BS, and still be something we can go out and do. And I know there's been a lot of restrictions, a lot of shows being canceled and everything. But I think at some point something's got to give. I think it'll be just fine.
I don't think, I feel that the metal scene took a hard hit for a little while. From what I've seen the last little while, I do think it's coming back. You had, like I said, I got in Lamb of God, which was the American Groove. Then it kind of shifted more toward, the metalcore kind of started falling into place, and it just took off from there. And I feel from what what I'm seeing a lot more localized stuff come out of the woodworks here lately. Like I said, we went to the beach, and I mean, it was wall to wall people in there in a little club, and back quite a few years ago, I always wanted to play at Capone's and over in Johnson City, which where we first played with you guys. Back then they didn't really do many local bands. It was just mainly the bigger acts, and they've started doing a lot more localized stuff. So I think that there's about to be a change coming. It happens every decade or so. I see a change coming, and I feel from what I'm seeing, it's just going to be a collective of everything. I mean, there's no, and this is one thing I really like about it. I don't see a lot of hate toward, you've got your metalcore kids hating on deathcore. It's just everything's kind of starting to, be collective, and there's
It's like a new wave.
It pretty much a new wave, and that's what I'm seeing coming. Just a collection of everything, everybody getting together, which is the way it should be. I mean, about every show we've played, it's been a variation of different styles. I mean, we've played with death metal, I mean, it's been a different kind of. It's not been one selective group of style, and I really like that because I mean it gives a whole lot of variation at shows.
And I've noticed too that I went to Blue Ridge Rock Fest this past year, and I've come to notice that there's a lot of bands that I had never heard of before, a lot of like up and coming bands that are just capturing everybody. And so yeah, I think there's got to be a new wave coming up here soon of bands, and so yeah, I think that's what we have to look forward to is, at some point, where is music going to go? And I think that's it. I think it's just a lot of smaller bands are gonna grow and rise up into it, and so yeah.
Yeah, I seen a comment there. Sorry, go ahead, Mason.
No, go ahead. I see it.
I seen a comment that said metal never left. I totally agree with that. Metal's never left. I don't think it's ever going to leave, man. I mean, it's just how it's becoming more nationalized, I guess you could say. More people's hearing about it. I mean, and by what I mean that is, your more local bands and different styles, and that's what I was, referring to what I was saying a while ago. Is it's all coming together more so than what I feel that it has in a very long time.
But as far as my thinking, I've actually noticed this here recently. A lot of your bigger bands, your more established bands, are the ones that are kind of stepping back in the COVID era, so to speak. And that's given a lot of your upcomers and your bands that are just starting. Those are the ones that are really starting to push up. Right now, that's what I've noticed, and it's a weird change. And to add on to what Josh said, it's not how it's beginning to not be how it used to be with, a lot of your, what's the word, your scene people, like people that are dedicated to one genre and that's it. I mean, like, we played the show, I don't know if you ever heard of them, Forever Yours. I mean, that's the furthest from what we could ever be playing with, and we played a show with them and hung right there with them. Their crowd loved what we were doing, and our crowd loved what they were doing. It's more of an open. I think it's more of an open playing field and more open opportunity now. It's open to whoever wants it now. Basically, is how I see it.
Yeah, I've noticed that whenever I go to a show, there's just all sorts of different people from all sorts of different backgrounds there. It's not it's not just like one genre of people or whatever. It's a lot of different people.
And that's something that
And
we've talked about on this channel before, is that one of the, I guess, silver lining things, if you have to find a silver lining in the COVID era of this, is that it has brought people together. More people are, wanting to go out and see shows. And it is something that, you had touched on, is that it does kind of seem like, Mason, a lot of the bigger bands, I've even noticed that bigger bands, will be having, bands I've never heard of. No one's ever heard of open forums. I feel like at this point, the opportunity has come forward as well. And, you guys are proving that right now. I saw you guys twice last year. I followed those guys around, and just the crowds and the attendance, and the, not just attendance, because you always have that one asshole that's just sitting like this in the corner. The amount of people who are into it as well, not just there to, do whatever, but who are into it, who are just wanting to be in that crowd setting again. It's really badass. One of the parts of the questions was, what genres do you think will become popular, moving forward? All of it. I think you can have bands who are more into the, post-hardcore metalcore stuff that are flourishing. You got bands who are into like fucking, I don't know, porno grind that may be doing well. I don't know. But that's kind of the thing, is that everybody's wanting to get out there and see this shit. So I think that everybody will do better. Got another question here from our laundry mat friend. It seems like gent and clean singing is the popular thing to do. Okay, I'm going to pause right here. That's my favorite shit, so I love it. But I'd like to see a return to the 2000s stuff, but I think we need the upcoming generation to get into metal. I agree with that. Limp Bizkit all the way. What do you guys think on that?
Back, when I first got into metal, man, I was not a fan of clean singing. I just wasn't, it just wasn't my forte. And the first, I guess, clean style singing I really started listening to was All That Remains. Then I got into more like Kill Switch and stuff like that. And I agree with James. I feel that that's I see a lot of that coming out of the woodworks, and we have a little bit of clean singing in our stuff. It's not as much as what a lot of bands are coming out with, but it's just I do see a lot more of that coming back, because not saying it ever really went away, but you had it you didn't see as much of it there for a while. But I do see it coming back a little more so than the past few years.
I've noticed too that there's been several bands that I've checked out that were just surfacing, smaller bands that are really bringing back that new metal genre, and everybody's loving it. They're like, hey, look who's bringing the genres back from 20 years ago, and they've got some really good songs. So I just think that every genre of metal that we've been through in the past is still kicking, still coming out.
It's a very like I said, it's a very open playing field right now. It's any man's game right now.
Yeah.
And to add to everything they've said, I feel that the next wave, and I feel that all of the local bands that's out right now, there's going to be select few that's in that next wave of I guess you could say stardom or whatever, the next bigger bands that you start seeing. I feel that everybody that's out there right now, as far as local bands, there's going to be a select out of that group that you're going to start seeing a lot of here in the next coming year or two, whatever. And that's kind of touches on what they was talking about the bigger bands kind of stepping back, and the reason I say that is, like I said, is it's time for a change. It's time for something different. It happens so often, and I think now is that time.
No, for sure. And if you guys who are watching this would like to listen to some Genty riffs and some clean singing, check out my solo album, Breaking the Cycle, now available on Spotify and everywhere else you get music. I had to plug that because we were talking about it. Anyway, moving forward, moving on. No, that is something that is, I almost hesitate to say it's a nostalgia thing because we've seen not just in music, but in culture, coming out of COVID, a lot of nostalgia stuff. A lot of us, I
Yeah.
believe, as a people, trying to remember before we had to put shit on our face to go outside. So, do you guys believe maybe that might be why, the new metal stuff's coming back? Like, I made the joke about Limp Bizkit, and we can joke about them all day, but at the end of the day, they just released a new record that was wildly successful. We live in a year last year where Korn, Slipknot, and Limp Bizkit all released new material in like a month span. So, do you think maybe that has something to do with it as well?
I
Uh,
think I think possibly. I mean, and this is just totally my opinion on this, but I think people are getting to a point where they're looking for something different, and what may be different to them, may be the nostalgic stuff, so that they may have never heard of some of these bands that have been around forever, and and I think that's why there's being a bigger mix of, like Mason said, an open platform of stuff. It's just you know you've got metalcore kids that never really listened to death metal, and they're kind of starting to slowly, I guess you could say, give more of an open mind to it, And I might be totally wrong on that. It's just from what I think, and maybe that might be why things are opening up. And I say that from experience because I never liked, like back in the day, Dilation Stout. I didn't like it. I don't know why, but now I do. I like it a lot, man. Because I guess I started appreciating it because I started really paying attention to it, to the amount of detail. And now it's, I mean, I listen, I love it. It's just, and I guess that's what I meant by, people are starting to be more open minded toward other genres or, subgenres, whatever you want to label it as.
yeah, like here a few years back, you wouldn't have, caught me listening to like Chelsea Grin or Whitechapel. Those are all bands that I just seen one day or was introduced to, and I'm like, hey, that sounds badass. So that's why years and years back I was into the bands that I had always grew up on and liked, and then one day it's just like I started expanding into different genres and different bands, and I just think that's everybody nowadays. There's got to be somewhere for them to go, and I think that's where it is listening to all these newer bands, and everybody's bringing something new to the table, and it's opened their eyes up to new genres and stuff that they've never listened to before or never thought that they would ever listen to.
And I feel that's the importance of going to a local show anymore, man, because there's such a collaboration of different styles of stuff. I mean,
Yep.
you don't know what you're going to hear. I mean, and I love it.
But the thing is,
Seems-
though, I've got to add on to what I said earlier. Yes, it is an open playing field, and it's any man's game. He is. You have to be different. That's it. Yes, you can't repeat what's already been done. That's
That's also true.
For sure.
the golden
I do
rule.
want to.
For instance, you don't want to hear the next insert band. Nobody wants to be the next whatever. They want to be For instance, nobody wants to be hey, these guys are the next Avenged Sevenfold. That doesn't. They have to be hey I'm going to use Dilation. Hey, this is Dilation, not the next whatever.
Right.
And I think what captures a lot of people's attention is the bands that they did grow up on, or the bands that they do like nowadays. When it comes to hearing new bands or up and coming bands, is there's always that they'll hear riffs, they'll hear the vocals that they love, that is like influence from those bands. And you don't have to sound just like a bigger band, but you're always going to hear those influences in there.
Absolutely.
No, for sure. And as we begin to wind down here, gentlemen, I do want to ask the ultimate question. Other than a brand new music video, stay tuned to Within the Midst socials to get all that information. In addition to that, what can we, as we begin the new year, what do we hope happens by the end of this year?
Well, not to give too much info out, especially before we release this video, because it's kind of obviously our big kind of cutting the red tape here. But we do have some more things on the line that we will be releasing, post the video. So we do have more stuff coming. We do, while the video, once we release it, we're going to be working in the background. We're going to really stay busy best we can. So I hope everybody, that's on here, check this out, because we're not going to be quiet once we start.
For sure. Go ahead and plug the socials. What is your individual socials? What is the band socials? Of course, we'll tag you guys in this post, but go ahead and do some plugging.
Well, obviously, you can, check out Within the Midst Facebook. We have Instagram. We don't have a YouTube set up yet because obviously we don't have no material on there yet, but that will be coming with the video. Then, you can check out our personal profiles. My Facebook is Josh Agnes Kinsler, and I know Bailey kind of likes to joke at that. But that just to give anyone who wonders, that is not my name. That is a joke between me and my wife, as we share an account. So my name is not Agnes.
Angus.
Yeah, or Angus. That was it. Angus. Yeah.
That's sort of good. My first time I was like, Angus. I thought I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's stuck. He's Angus to me.
That's all right. That works with me. But yeah, you can check that out on my personal, and I'll be sharing stuff on there, and also my Instagram. That I can't really pronounce my Instagram because it's my name backwards. So
just look up his name backwards, and then we'll
exactly
how you do it. Any more plugs?
Charles?
You can. I've got Facebook. I've got Instagram. Charles Kempf. I can't really remember what my username is for Instagram because I use like 1,000 different usernames for 1,000 different things. But you could find me by my name for sure.
But say
It's a name you don't see often, so.
Really, the best way to get a hold of me is Facebook. Like, I really don't exist very much on any other form of social media, but I think Glass.Mason is my Instagram, and Mason Glass on Facebook. That's about all I use.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. We really appreciate you guys taking the time on this Sunday morning, fresh into the new year, to talk to us about what we can expect moving forward, the metal scene, all that good stuff. If you guys are interested in checking out Within the Midst, which you should be, why have you watched this far into it and you're not interested in Within the Midst? What the fuck's wrong with you? Go check out all of their socials. I will, of course, be dropping their for their band page in this description, so check them out and keep an eye on their upcoming. The only thing we got confirmed here, because you don't want to spoil too much this early on, is we do have a brand new music video from these guys coming out soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I do, and thank you to, I'm only going to call you Laundromat Guy now. Absolutely, thank you for being on here through text. Next time, I expect the Laundromat to be with us. And what we'll do, sending off, keep an eye Metal Everything. Keep your eyes peeled for new interviews, new talks, new material. We got to do a part 2 once we get a bit further into the year, guys.
Or if we get if Dilation go with them, we'll do something with you
We'll
guys.
do a big collaboration or some shit. Actually, I just have to remember this. If you look through Metal Everything, the first live video that I posted on here was of Within the Myths. If you guys want a little snippet of what you can expect with this fantastic band, check out the Metal Everything page and listen to, I think it's maybe like a song and a half. So check that out. And yeah, we thank you guys for being on here, guys.
Well, we appreciate you, fellas.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Absolutely. And everybody stay safe, be good, and have a good one, guys.
You too.
Have a better
You too.
Good, Angus, Glass, and Charles.
Be good.
See you, fellas.
See you guys.
See you.
Sex.